Good morning.
Colors don't really mean anything. They're just different weights. So you can always check on so yeah, I mean, if you can remember colors, there's just no rhyme or reason as to why is it purple, why is it pink.
Okay.
But all the weights will be on one side of the front.
Okay.
Do you hear me?
Yep, I can. Can you hear me? Okay. I couldn't mute myself for a second there. Also good.
I'll give right. Yeah, 2 minutes.
Everybody else to wake up and get going.
That's it.
Everybody else to wake up and get going.
Yep. Again, can you still hear me? All right, cool. Let's get started. Let's get started. All right, gang, we're gonna start with single leg hip ups first. So we're gonna do five single leg hip ups. I want you to hold the top position about 2 seconds. Really focus on squeezing the glutes. Once you guys get those 5 done, you're gonna take a knee. Okay, so my left leg is about in the middle of the mat. My right foot is just off the mat. I'm gonna go left hand down the ground. We're gonna do some rotations first. So left hand goes down the ground. I'm gonna put my hand flat on the ground. Reach up, look at the fingertips, and back down. Do 6 of these. So I'm using my left hand to push into the ground to help me rotate up. So we're gonna do 6 each side. once you guys get to the opposite side, hip flexor mobs. So I'm driving everything forward. I'm not just driving my hips forward, drive everything forward. We're gonna do 8 of these on each side. Once you guys get 8 on each side, we're gonna do some black burns. So black burns laying down on your belly. Arms in a wide position. We're gonna bring them to the small of our lower back. So right hand will be on top for your rep 1. And then when you go to your second rep, left hand's on top. So alternate the hands that are on top. We're gonna do 8 total, 4 on each side. Once you guys are done, I'll get you to stand up. And let's see here, V-stand split squat. So we're gonna do a couple just rocking in place, toes and heels. So I'm gonna drive up onto my toes, and then I'm gonna drive back on my heels. I want you to think about trying to stay straight. So try not to stick your butt back to go onto your heels. And we're gonna do 15 of these. Loosen up those ankles a little bit. Once you guys are done with those 15, we'll do some lateral lunges, lateral squats. All right, gang. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a step out to the right. We're gonna do a lateral lunge, and we're gonna take a step back. I'm gonna take a step out to the right, but I'm gonna put my foot towards the wall. So I'm gonna rotate my foot out. So it looks like this. I call it like a warrior pose or something. So I step out, and I big step out. Okay, we're gonna do 5. 5 on each side. 1 of each is 1. So you'll do 10 steps, 5 each movement. So just taking a step out, both toes pointed straight ahead, and then taking a step out, 1 foot points straight ahead, 1 foot points out. When you guys are done, we're gonna do a couple ground touches. So we're gonna bend the stance leg as much as possible, driving the opposite leg up in the air, touching the ground. We're gonna do 6 on one side, trying to drive that leg up. You can bend the knee if you want. You're just trying to drive the foot up to the ceiling, bend the knee as much as possible, touch the ground, 6 each side. Wake those hammies up. Wake the muscles up on the bottom of the foot. Make sure you are controlling yourself on the down. When you guys are done with that, we're going to go into our anterior core. So we got a front plank. We got a full body hollow. We got a iso hold, straight arm iso hold. Don't do that one though, because we're doing that one later. So let's just go kind of basic. We'll go front plank, full body hollow, or reach and curl. Pick one of those three movements. We're going to go 30 seconds. Most important thing is just breathing while you're doing this movement. We're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 30 seconds. Thinking about tight butt, thinking about tight quads, obviously tight core, not holding your breath. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Rest. Come on up, guys. So last one we're going to do for locomotions. I'm going to do rotational hops. Just nice and easy. Just rotational hops. Okay, we're going 30 seconds. Letting the arms counter swing to the legs. Nice and easy hops. Good bounce. 30 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go. Nice and easy bounces. Nice and soft on the feet. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. Rest. Again, let's do some self-love. We're going to start with our squats first. We're going to put our toe touches and our squats together today for our self-love. So I'm going to stand about shoulder width apart. I'm going to bend my knees. I'm going to reach down. I'm going to grab a hold of my toes. I'm going to push my toes into my hands and pull my hands into my toes. First goal is to be able to straighten the knees while you're holding on to the toes and pushing the toes into the hands. So if you can't straighten the knees right away, you're going to do these pulses. And you're going to do up to 10. And each time you bend the knees, you go a little bit deeper. Each time you straighten the legs, you go a little bit straighter. So we're going to do 10 of those. So it's either going to turn into 10 squat to stands, might turn into 3 squat to stands and 7 just kind of bending the knees and straighten the knees. Elbows should be on the inside of the knees. So you might have to take your feet a little bit wider. Let those elbows be on the inside of the knees. Once you guys get that combo toe touch deep squat done, we're going to go down on all fours. We're going to do a different arms overhead. Just kind of feel like switching some things up today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start hands on my knees. I'm going to go to a quadruped position. I'm going to scoot backwards and put my head on the ground with my hands over top of my head. And then I'm going to come back up to kind of like this long quadruped position and back down. So head goes to mat, elbows straight. Do 5 of these. Been playing around with that stretch in the morning. I really like it. Different way to get our arms over top of our heads. And then the last one we're going to do is we're going to do a seated quadruped spinal wave. So seated quadruped spinal wave. If you can't, so first of all, you gotta be able to sit butt to heel. If you can't sit butt to heel, then just do your regular spinal wave on all fours. If you can sit butt to heel, you keep your chest nice. to go hands on your thighs. You're going to think about rounding everything. And then you're going to think about arching everything and looking up. So we'll do 3 of these, 3 to 5. So tuck the chin, tuck the pelvis, round everything. And then look up, arch. 3 to 5 of those. Not to be confused with 35. That would be a lot. Then we're going to do some tall, kneeling, straight arm holds, or as I like to call them, diaper holds. Yes, I did say diaper holds, because you're holding a stinky diaper away from you. Although tall, kneeling, straight arm holds sound a hell of a lot more scientific than diaper holds. So we're going to grab a plate, grab a weight, anything with weight to it, milk jug, weight plate, whatever. You can do this standing if you want. So standing and kneeling are identical as far as the motion's concerned. Straight arm, trying to keep everything in a straight line, trying not to counterbalance by leaning backwards. You want to do on the knees. Looks like this, same thing. Okay, again, we're not counterbalancing by leaning backwards. Ears should be stacked over shoulders, shoulders over hips, hips over knees, straight arm. Okay, should be a little hamstring when we get down in a seated position or a tall kneeling position. So we're going to go 20 seconds. Three, two, one, go. 20 seconds, holding that weight out in front of you, not holding your breath, just holding the weight. Five seconds. Rest. All right, gang, so next one. Could use that. Actually, I'm gonna give you, yeah, you could use that 10 probably. So next one is gonna be our single arm suitcase deadlift cross body chop. This works best with the kettlebell. If you only have a dumbbell, that's fine. So I'm gonna go, feet are gonna be about hip width apart. So a little bit closer feet. I'm gonna take the kettlebell down to about mid shin, or maybe right below the knee, whatever you feel comfortable. I'm gonna drive the kettlebell up to the opposite side. Bell points up at an angle, handle points down on an angle. Then I do a little pause and then straight back. Okay. If you want to go fast, that's fine. Just be careful of where the bell is in relation to your knee. You do not want to hit that bell against your knee. Give me 8. We're doing 3 sets today. Give me 8 of those, please. Should be a fast movement. So when you come up from your deadlift, should be a fast movement. Maybe like 50% curl, 50% hip drive. We're gonna do 8 on each side. Too much? Try this one. Eight each side. Then we're going to go back into our tall kneeling iso holds. "20 seconds on our tall kneeling iso holds. Increase the weight if you want to, or decrease the weight if you want to. This is your workout, okay? So we're going to go 20 seconds on that tall kneeling iso hold or standing iso hold, whatever you want. If you want to make it a little bit harder, you can go single leg. I haven't done that, so I have no idea what that's going to feel like. I'm going to do it right now. 3, 2, 1, go. Not sure how I feel about that. 10 seconds. Again, going back to our cross in 3 sets. And then just bring it to the shoulder. In fact, think about, so all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep this hand here. I'm gonna bring the bell up, touch that hand. Do an 8 on each side. I like feet closer together for this, especially if you're using a kettlebell. I have hit myself with a kettlebell before. It's not something that you want to do. We are going to do 3 sets. So we got one more set of your tall kneeling iso holds. Let's do this last set. If you can, use the weight that you are doing your crossbody chops with. So if you're doing your crossbody chops with an 8 kilogram, use an 8 kilogram. If you're doing it with a 20-pound dumbbell, use a 20-pound dumbbell. You only got 20 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go. If you guys are doing single leg, soft knee, ten seconds. Then we're gonna do one more set of our crossbody chops. Rest. One more set of the crossbody chops. Eight on each side. Make sure you guys know where your knees are. Make sure you know where the weight is. Okay, gang, so after that one, we're gonna go into our seated jump squat and our beast crawl. I'm gonna talk a little about the seated jump squat. So the idea with the seated jump squat, first of all, if your chair is too low, like you gotta think about it like this. The idea with the seated jump squat is we wanna put you approximately in the position that you would be if you were gonna jump, right? So you would never like go all the way down to here to jump. So if you have a really low chair, put something on it to build it up a little bit, or instead of sitting really deep back into the chair, only sit into the chair to where your butt touches the chair, okay? I like to use a pad. So you're gonna have a little pause. That's the seated part. Hands are gonna be down low. Feet are gonna be more underneath of us because we're gonna drive into a jump. So I'm gonna drive up into a jump. I'm gonna reach for the ceiling, land soft, slow the back, slow the down and back down, slow the down and back down. Yeah, slow it down, yeah. And then back up, okay? So a little pause on the bottom. We're gonna do 8. Yeah, that's fine. We're gonna do 8. Then we're gonna go to our beast crawls. Most important is a soft land. Once you guys get 8 done, we're gonna go into our beast crawls. So down on all fours. We're doing eight total. You can either do 8 total crawls, or you can do 8 on each leg, or 8 on each side rather. How to do these. Is that we're trying to keep knees as close to the ground as possible. Our right foot moves with our left hand. And then we're going to go back to those jump squats. That's today where we get into our strength training. Or when your feet are off the ground, so instead of doing, okay, do this instead of, I don't even think I can, okay, this.
Yeah, that's a years-long incorrect habit where my arms are in the wrong place.
No worries.
Working on it.
No worries, man.
Did you want us to do 3 sets or 2 sets, Ben?
3 sets, please.
Okay.
Three sets, gang. For the beast crawls, they're hard. Sometimes a little bit too hard. You could also just hold that position. So you could also just hold the beast position, keeping the knees paper distance off the ground. If you want to hold the beast position, you're going to count to 10. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. You could also keep the arm and leg up off the ground, but not actually moving forward or backward. Any variation of those. It's all good. Those sets. Once you guys get 3 sets done, take a little breather. We go into our strength training. Breather. We go into the strength training part. So today, squats. Why not? B stand split squats, skater squats in the first series. Remember, we have B stand split squats twice. You have the choice to do them in the first series, and then you have the choice to do either a B stand split squat or an RFE split squat in the second series. So I don't think anybody's doing all B stand split squats, so I won't tell you how to do that. Most of you guys are doing a single leg squat or a skater squat in your first series. So single leg squat, I like a little bit of balance when I do my single leg squats. Okay, we're going down slow. If you're still working on that, there's nothing wrong with that. Way to make them harder is increase the distance. So you would stand on something that's approximately, gives you about 2 inches elevation, 1 to 2 inches. And then just working on trying to go lower down into the motion. You can hold the weight in each hand, that's fine. You can hold a weight out in front of you. That would be another way to load it. Skater squat. Make sure you have something you can take your knee to. So you go down the same distance every time. You're touching your kneecap to whatever it is that you want to use to control that distance. Remember, you touch the kneecap, not touching the shin. It's the kneecap. Okay, that's your skater squat. Second exercise, rear flies. You can do these seated if you wanted to. Okay, do them seated. You can do them standing, bent over. Either one of those are totally fine. Okay, rear flies. Third exercise is going to be our functional anterior lunge to ground touch. So I'm holding 2 weights. Take a small step forward. I always think about like when you're playing mini golf and you reach down to pick up the golf ball out of the hole. That's how I think about when I'm doing these functional lunges. So I take a small step forward. I take the weight down about mid shin. If you want to, you can go all the way down to the ground. My butt is up in the air. And then I step back. You can either do all one leg or switch, alternate legs. Either way is totally fine. And then last exercise is our seated Arnold press. So we have 2 dumbbells. We're seated. Dumbbells are approximately mouth, nose level. The dumbbells are together, forearms are together. I'm going to rotate out. As I rotate out, once my elbows clear my shoulders, I'm going to go into a press and then back down. Big thing that I want you guys to focus on in the press is ideally arms should be in line with ears. Okay, so I'm not like this, and I'm also not like this. So ideally those arms are in line with the ears, hands are over top of shoulders, and we bring them back down. Okay. We are going to do 10 minutes. We got a 10-minute time set. You do as many rounds as you can in 10 minutes. Reps are going to be 8 to 15 reps. Actually 8 to 15 for everything. For your functional anterior lunges, give me 10 on each side. 10-minute time set.
Can you show me the anterior lunge again?
Yep. So 2 weights, weight in each hand. Small baby step out, butt up in the air, head down, back up. You got it. When you're doing that anterior functional lunge, you should feel big stretch in the back of the leg. So give me more of a toe touch. Yeah. Because right now your upper body, yes, is working a little bit too much. Yes.
Which leg should you feel the stretch in for the anterior lunge?
For you, probably neither.
Right. So should I do something different?
No, just go heavier weight and focus more on bending the leg that you, so the leg that should feel the stretch should be the front leg. So if ultimately that muscle is stretching, because if that muscle wasn't stretching, your face would be on the floor right now. So it's just one of those things that for you, you have a hard time feeling that muscle contract. So you could go heavier. You could bend that knee a little bit more, kind of turn it a little bit more into like an RDL.
Bend the front knee?
Yeah, bend the front knee. It's one of those things where like the only thing that's preventing you from smashing your face into the ground is that hamstring. So, but you have pretty good mobility. So you might have a hard time feeling that muscle contract. I wouldn't change the exercise. I would probably just go a little bit heavier for you.
Okay.
And then let's try going a little heavier. If we wanted to, you could do a lateral functional lunge and see if that gets you a little bit different than hamstring. But I would say let's go heavier on the anterior functional lunge first. Cornelia, look at my hands.
Yep.
There you go. Ten minutes, gang. And then give me a step back. So you guys are going to step forward and then you're going to step back. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Yeah. It's all the same stuff. It's a hip hinge. Let's say you feel like you're doing a hip hinge. Deadlifts is an exercise, hip hinge is a movement. 10 minutes, gang. Three minutes down. So what I want you focusing on is much. So you're doing this. So hips to my head. See the difference? See where my butt is? So you're trying to get down into this position. I want you up in this position. I want you in the same position that you're going to pick that water bottle up. Yeah, that's better. Yes. Yes. Feel different?
Yeah.
Nothing in the lower back though?
No.
Good. When you guys are doing these anterior functional lunges, you should not be feeling this in the lower back. So if you are, please let me know. I think those are probably too light.
I did 10.
Give me 15s. Let's go 15s. So for you, I want your rep ranges more. Yeah. I want your rep ranges more in like the 8 to 12 range. Okay. Last one is your seated Arnold press. So probably try the 10s. And that's when you could do the standing. We like it seated, but so you're gonna start here. Yep. And you're gonna rotate out and press, and then bring it down and in. All right, I like it. Good, Cornelia, you got it. So I want you really focusing on what your foot's doing. I want your foot gripping the ground as much as possible. Okay, instead of just kind of hanging out. Does that make sense? Yep. Good. Yes. And same thing for you. I want you thinking about that foot. Instead of just having it on the ground, I want you to think about like you're actually trying to squeeze the ground with the foot. Okay. And you could probably take so you're at this position. You probably take this foot out a little bit just to give you a little bit more stability. Yeah. 10 minutes, gang. We are 6 minutes down. Do all one leg, then switch. And then don't forget that step backwards. Yep, and then step out. Good. And Heather, we're going to change this a little bit for you. So next time you do this exercise, so basically, start here, drop the ball down. You're going to take a step, you're going to pick it up, you bring it to your shoulder, drop the ball down. Yeah. Yep. You get 30 actually. 30 pounds. Two minutes, gang. There. Yeah, you're good. And the other thing is just take your feet a little wider because you're kind of like walking a tightrope. So think hip width apart. And then when you come back to that position, hip width apart. Yes. You don't have to go on the ground if you don't want to. Gang, about 90 seconds left. We're doing finisher today. Got our apple pickers, our jogs, or ogs, soft J. 1 minute. But I just want you to drop it and pick it up. Yep. Yep. When you go to pick it up, get that thing as close to your foot as possible. Yeah. So bring it as close to your body as possible. Yeah. There you go. And just think about like picking up your kid. You're never going to pick your kid up like this. All right. You're going to reach down, you can pick them up, you're going to pull them towards you. You guys got about 15 seconds. Make sure you're equal on each side. Nobody wants to be lopsided. Same reps each side. Best gang. Rest, 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 rest. All right, guys, so I'm gonna show you what you do with that. Next 3 movements. We got our B stand split squat or our RFE split squat. I'd like for you guys to be able to do a B stand split squat. I'd like to see 20 reps with that. Nice, good upright torso, knee over top of the toe with no pain. So B stand split squat, start feet together. I'm gonna take a small step backwards, okay? So got about 80% of my weight on my left leg, about 20% of my weight on my right leg. Chest up nice and tall. I'm gonna squat down. I'm gonna let that left knee come as far over top of my toe as possible, as long as there's no pain, trying to keep my torso upright. And then I drive back up, okay? If you can do 20, then you will go to an RFE split squat. Same idea, trying to get 20. Nice and easy, good balance, okay? Second exercise is gonna be our seated 3-way face pull. So you can do this seated. If you have something to anchor a band to, you could anchor the band to something. And the 3 positions basically are gonna be approximately Adam's apple, somewhere between the base of the neck and your shin, or yeah, your shin. Somewhere between the base of your neck and your chin. That's your first position. Second position is gonna be somewhere between the chin and roughly the eyeballs, so somewhere in that neighborhood, okay? And then third position is gonna be somewhere between eyeballs and basically top of the head. So we're gonna do those 3 positions. We're gonna do each one, and that's 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, okay? We'll do 10 of those. Last one, I'll set the bands up for you guys. Last one is gonna be our get-ups. So here's what I want you guys to do. We're gonna do 2 get-ups each side because we gotta make sure we have time for a finisher. So you can do the Turkish get-up if you want. Your hand up in the air, you roll over, you come up, you can do that if you want. I don't like to do that. I like to hold something in that left hand against my shoulder, okay? And then I like to boil it down to 3 motions. First motion is your chill position. So you just hang out your watching a concert, sitting on the ground. Third position is you go to a half kneeling position. For the most part, if you guys can get to this position, you will almost always be able to get up. Okay, so I don't need you to get up. Just go to that position. You're gonna do 8 minutes, 2 rounds. So 8 minutes or 2 rounds, whichever comes first. 3, 2, 1, go. Yep. Okay, there's going to be 3 motions. First motion, face that way, and give me side steps. I want you to think soft knees. And when the foot hits, the hip is always right over top of the foot. So it's never like this, okay? We do 15 each side. And somewhat fast and short steps so you can make it fast. Let me get you to do that same thing, but just not on the mat. Soft, too squishy. Should feel it in your glutes. Good. So first thing that you're going to do when you come in is you're going to do these 3 exercises. And then on this day, you're going to repeat these 3 exercises again, okay? So that's the first one. I'll show you the second one after you're done. Yeah, Vanessa, do you have anything heavier? You got a kettlebell? Do you have an 8 kilogram kettlebell? Next one's going to be this. So ankle blocks.
A 10
10 will work.
kilograms.
10 will
That's
work.
kind of heavy.
Well, I'll show you how to do. I'll show you how to do it with the kettlebell. And then you can play around with the dumbbell if you want. So I got a kettlebell. I'm going to go to a rack position. Okay. I'm going to drive all the way up, still in a rack position. I'm going to lift my hips up. I'm going to slide my knee underneath me, still trying to keep the kettlebell in a rack position, and then come up.
Okay.
And then you reverse that motion back down. So you can do the same thing with a dumbbell. The kettlebell's
Let me
nice.
try it.
What's that?
Let me try it with the kettlebell.
Yeah, the kettlebell's nice because it has that off-center gravity. Just makes it a little bit harder. Do the monkeys. The other one's angled. Step, 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 step. This one's slide step. Yes. So sometimes we call them C's. So always reminds me of the monkeys though. And they were walking down the street. 8 minutes, gang. Got a finisher. There you go, Vanessa. I like to do the get up without that top hand in the arm, or without the top arm in the air. I feel like that complicates it. You will also never ever get up like that unless you're trying to keep your beer higher than everybody else's. 3 with these pull. Right here, actually. Come on here. Just make sure you line up. Okay. That might be too easy, but we'll give it a shot. Yeah. Got finisher, gang. 8 minutes. We are halfway done. You can always refine this get up technique in the grand scheme of things. We're doing this, make it a little bit harder to get up off the ground. I want you to imagine that you're holding something very precious to you, my precious. So Chris, what I want you to do is you're gonna just go from here. You're gonna go to a chill position to a hip up, okay? So from this position, you're gonna kind of touch your chest. You're gonna roll onto your side. You're gonna use your elbow and your foot to help get you up. And then I call this your chill position. Everybody's been in this position before. Now from this position, I'm gonna drive my foot into the ground. You can go straight leg, you can go bent leg, doesn't really matter. But think hips up as high as you can. Then you're gonna go back down, slow back down. Okay. If you guys want to work on the Turkish get up, there is a fairly in-depth video that I did a while ago that I believe is in the program, in the Stay Strong program videos. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. We got a finisher. That's an apple pickers. I don't know why it's called that. You okay? No knee pain? "90 seconds, gang. You guys are doing great. Somebody give you, actually, you probably won't get to this. Feeling your glutes? Good. 1 minute. So when you come in every day, you're gonna do this for you, anything else, okay? Because you usually get here a little bit early. And we're looking for a burn. And those green bands live right over here. "30 seconds. There you go, Vanessa. There you go. You'll be able to get up with a case on your shoulder pretty soon. "30 seconds. That was a little bit too rambunctious, my 30 seconds. You got about 15 seconds left. Finish up whatever you're doing. Make sure you're equal on both sides. That is time. We do have a finisher. So we got our apple pickers and we have our in-place Jogs. Apple pickers on your back. Feet up in the air, knees straight, okay? You can either go both hands up, you could cross body, that's fine. Just make sure you give a little pause at the top and then back down, little pause at the bottom. Pause at the top, pause at the bottom. We don't want to bounce. Okay, little pause. Top and bottom. We're gonna go 20 seconds on. Then we're gonna stand up. We're gonna rest for 10 seconds. We're gonna do our in-place jogs. 3, 2, 1, go. I like to do the pause because I feel it a little bit more in my abs. I do know that some people like to do a little bit more of a bounce because that makes them feel it more in their abs. Whatever you feel more in the core. That's what I want you to do. Rest. They get you guys to stand up. So the exercise as it's written is just jogging in place, or high knees specifically. So you could walk high knees, you could jog high knees, go ahead and go. If you wanted to, you could do some jumping jacks. You really could do any kind of locomotion. You could do some side shuffles if you wanted to. The high knees is going to work the core more. Rest. Back there. Those apple pickers. Go. Good job, gang. Good job. Rest. Back up to that standing position. Back to our high knees. Go. Remember, any kind of locomotion in the grand scheme of things is great. I like this combo because it gets your heart rate up. And when you're breathing hard, it's more challenging to contract your abs. Rest. Because all of your abdominal musculature, all of your core, quote core, back down on the ground to your apple pickers, all of your core is also breathing muscles. Go. And when those muscles have to do two things at once, breathe hard and also work to move the torso, it does create some challenging dynamics. Rest. Okay, we're back into our high knees. Go. We got one more minute after this, one more round. Rest. 1 minute. Last apple pickers. Last high knees. Go. Five seconds, gang. And we're going back into our high knees. Last set. Rest. Back into those high knees. Last set. High knees are not to be confused with high knee. Go. Nobody ever says that anymore, high knee. Ten seconds, gang. Then you're done. 5 seconds. Rest. Rest. Resty. Rest. Virtual high fives. Virtual high fives. Virtual high fives.
Thank you, Ben.
Good job, Vanessa. Good job, Cornelia. Good job, Warren.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Have a
Good
good day. Night.
day.